Alrighty. Howdy neighbors and welcome back to the Devine Speaker. Last time we got started with the ball, as we do. We got jealous because Rain got jealous because Leos was dancing with women. And Leos was like, you know what? Feck it. And then he danced with us and that was great. And that's what we're doing. Lots of people don't like us, but we did get a lead by going to the bakery in the lower district. Anyway, let's continue. There's something about my dance with Leos felt much more real, much more human than any of them. As we walked back into the room.
Finally back? Shall we resume where we left off?
Without realizing it, I clutched the back of Leos' shirt tightly, silently begging him not to leave me again.
Forgive me, my lady, but I must take my leave now. We'll have to save that dance for another time.
You know where to find me.
She disappeared back to the crowd with a disappointed expression on her face.
Well, that's the end of this, then. Did you find out anything?
I nodded at him before opening my mouth in response.
I bumped into someone normal, believe it or not. A guy named Hone. He said he knows Caspian and to meet him at his bakery tomorrow.
Huh, would you look at that? You found all of that out on your own. Good job.
What did you find out? Even as he said that, he refused to make eye contact. He led me through the crowd toward the exit, taking hold of my hand once again. That's true, we totally broke in. I was still worried that I'll get lost. The air outside was bitterly cold, biting down at our core, making us walk just a little bit closer to each other. As we left the building, we noticed someone standing in the shadows, arms crossed.
About time you showed up. Maybe you were having a little too much fun in there, hmm?
Oh, great.
Hello, Illran. Were you waiting for us?
I was indeed. I have some news about Soren, but this isn't the time or place to talk about it.
Do you know Hone's bakery? In the lower districts?
He nodded.
Meet us there by midday tomorrow. Hey, wait. Where's Veras?
Finally noticed that the peach-haired man nor the blue bird were anywhere in sight.
We're not always together, you know. He's watching over Soren at the moment. For some reason, he's worried sick.
That doesn't sound like a good sign.
Let's talk tomorrow. Midday. Hone's bakery.
Meh. He turned around and left, quickly disappearing into the night.
As mysterious and troublesome as ever.
He's hiding something from us. I just can't put my finger on what.
You think so?
I know so. If I could just work it out,
I used to think he was helping us out of the goodness of his heart, but it seems like he wants something from us, doesn't it?
And again, Veras is so kind and caring. He wouldn't hide anything from us, would he? I don't know.
Well, let's worry about it tomorrow. It's late and I'm exhausted.
Yeah, let's go back to your room.
You're coming to my room? Again?
Do you have a problem with that?
Well, no, it's just... Fine. I suppose there's no point in arguing.
I'm glad you understand. Now, you better never make me attend another event like that ever again.
Why? You seem to fit right in.
I can't stand people like that. So busy with themselves that no one else matters.
He shook his head, walking down the wide road back to the Silver Willows. Before long, we stood outside the building. Leos pulled open the door and waited for me to enter. Aaron nodded at us as we passed, busy scribbling something in a ledger. I silently followed alongside Leos back to my room. We entered the room. I dropped down onto the bed with a tired sigh, enjoying the soft feeling below me.
Finally back. As awful as that was, we finally have a lead.
Don't get too used to this luxury. Sign's only paid for a week, and then we'll be out of here.
And I wonder what we'll do then.
In place of an answer, Leos pulled the chair back over beside the bed and sat down, making himself comfortable.
Why not just get straight into bed? You ended up in here last night anyway.
That was a moment of weakness. I'm no use to you when I'm asleep.
I think you're plenty of use to me no matter what.
Fine, but if something happens to you in your sleep, you know whose fault it is.
I'll take full responsibility, I promise.
Taking off his boots this time, Lewis climbed into the bed beside me, settling in between the sheets.
I might disappear for a while tomorrow, so stay with the others.
Where are you going?
I have something to talk to Illran about. I'll get to the bottom of this.
What?
Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it.
I turned over, facing the wall opposite me.
I wish you'd depend on me sometimes too. Or at least trust me.
I muttered into my pillow, but got no response. Dark abyss filled with whispers of regret that tugged at my mind and demanded to be seen. Countless voices muttered through his mind, digging at old wounds. He wished to look away, to cover his ears, to cry for somebody to help him, but it was too late. No one could help him now. He'll grow up to be the perfect assassin, uncaring and ruthless. No, I don't want to. Keep him locked up for a few years. That'll teach him not to depend on anyone else. Please, just want someone, anyone. He'll be the demise of all those close to him anyway. Anyone, please. Don't disappoint me again. Find the child and deal with it. Fuck. Shit. Not again. Another dream. I was glanced around the dark room, taking in the environment. It was Rain's room. They've just gotten worse and worse. Why can't I get a single good night's sleep anymore? I lifted his brow, which was drenched in sweat from his nightmare, by looking down at the sleeping figure beside him. His sleeping face was peaceful and calm, completely different from Leos's. He took a deep breath and stared at the serene face, trying to slow his heartbeat. It's just a stupid dream. Rain's face screwed up a little, leaving wrinkles on his forehead. Leos reached forward and smoothed the lines, and his face instantly relaxed. Cute. Wait, what? No, not cute. God, I need more sleep. His hand hovered over Rain. Nearly touching, but not quite. There was a gap between the two that couldn't easily be crossed. Their lives had been too different. They'd grown up in different worlds. There should be no overlap between them yet. Yet here I am, following along behind him like a trained dog. Why? I could have left at any point. None of them would have been able to stop me. Do I owe him a debt for saving my life? Yes, but I've returned it tenfold. Just what is wrong with me? I know what's wrong. You like him. The redhead sighed into his hand, before laughing at himself sadly. I am here to protect you, but the most dangerous place to be is by your side. I can't protect you. I'm not made for protecting people. All I know is taking lives. If I stay with you, you'll die too. He closed his eyes, his mind clouded by thoughts. His heart and mind disagreed, and this was something he didn't know how to deal with. Cold and uncaring, apathetic and unfeeling, that was Leos. That was what he'd been taught to be since a child. Yet his mind screamed at him to disobey, to forge his own path. But I don't deserve it. I'll never deserve it. He opened his eyes back up, annoyed. His mind was far too active to allow him to sleep. He had thoughts of taking a walk, but leaving Rain alone made him feel uneasy. I'll sit up and watch for intruders, he thought, as he stared at Rain's gentle sleeping face once again. The streets of Sid Kaam, particularly lonely at night. The moonlight bounced off the snow, casting everything in a cold, eerie glow. No one walked the streets, choosing instead to be tucked into their warm, comfortable beds. Well, that was nearly true. One man fought against the pure cold weather, trudging through the pure white snow. He watched the moon as he walked, and he thought. He never stopped thinking. He'd begun to wonder if it was even possible not to constantly be pondering or deliberating. Up ahead, a medium-sized, low-profile building came into view, the one he was looking for. From far away, he wondered if the one he left in there was also thinking about him. Why would he be? He has other things on his mind, Nox and Soren. He approached the building and knocked 3 times, sharply, making his presence known. A shuffling came from inside, before the sound of locks began unlatching. The door opened, and he was face to face with a pink-haired man.
Hello, Zarin. Did you miss me? Where's the brat?
As much as I'd miss any other pain in my behind, Titus is out. You know he doesn't appreciate you calling him that. Why did you leave your bird here anyway?
Oh, don't be so harsh. He doesn't like the cold.
You're far too attached. They don't live long, you know. You'll be devastated once he's gone.
Tell me about it.
Nonsense. We'll just have to go together, eh?
Running your mouth as usual. Take your bird and leave.
Yes, sir. Oh, how's he looking?
I still need to conduct some tests. I can't answer that yet. At the very least, he seems stable. His breathing is normal, he just won't awaken. I'll bring you the details tomorrow, if I must.
You know Hone, right? That cute baker down in the lower districts? Meet me there at midday tomorrow. The other ones I told you about will be waiting for us.
Fine. Now go away. I'm far too busy to be chatting with you.
Fine, fine. You're really no fun, you know that?
The bluebird hopped onto Illran's shoulder, and Zarin answered him by slamming the door. He walked a distance from the doorway before speaking to the little bluebird who tweeted beside him.
How did it go, Veras?
Various pecks, Veras managed to get his message across about what happened with Soren, but Illran still wasn't fully satisfied. Usually, he wasn't so soft as to need Veras's human form beside him at all times. In fact, he had gotten used to conversing with his bird form, but tonight he felt a loneliness that wouldn't cease, no matter how much he wished it away. When he didn't respond, the bird fluttered from his shoulder onto the ground, and in a poof of smoke, a naked man appeared.
Whoa, whoa, what are you doing? It's freezing!
You don't say.
A moment later, he was just in his poncho, thanks to Illran. He still shivered, his legs and feet uncovered.
Why did you do that? Change back! You can't walk through the snow like that!
I don't want to. I feel like chatting.
Later, when we're back inside.
Later as well, then. I'm fine like this.
No, you're not.
He sighed and knelt down in front of Veras.
What are you doing?
Hop on. I'll carry you the rest of the way back. There we go. At least your feet won't fall off this way.
Veras snuggled in close, trying to steal as much body heat as he could.
It feels nice. Thank you, Illran. I can always depend on you.
You better appreciate it now. Once you're back up in the sky or whatever, you won't be able to be pampered by me anymore.
Illran, I've been wanting to speak to you about that. Eternity. It's a lonely, boring thing. To exist forever? Is there anyone that would want that, truly?
Huron's breath stilled, unsure of where this was going. He's not going to tell me that he wants to stay after all, is he?
To exist until the end of time, and after that too. I couldn't think of a worse fate, Illran. It's scary, too painful to even bear the thought of. I don't want to stay as a human forever, and I wish even less to stay as a god forever. I think that, perhaps, my time is coming, sooner than I'd originally thought.
What? What are you talking about?
You know, when I first got my human body, I felt like I had a purpose. To grow up with my family first and foremost, and then, after, to watch over my parents and my birthplace. But time takes everything. Everything except for me. I'm the only one that gets left behind. My parents died. My hometown doesn't even exist anymore. What purpose did I have then? Powerless as a god, and worthless as a human being.
You're not... You've never been worthless, Veras. It's just as I told you when we first met.
I wandered for hundreds of years with no place to call home. I had no reason to exist. No right to this body when I couldn't do anything for my followers. It was only when we met that I wanted to find Aurelia Cavella again. Before then, I'd already given up on ever being able to return. I thought that if I found them again, I could rejoin them. Go back to being the god that I was before. I've had a long time to think, Illran. More time than anyone deserves. And it took me that whole time to work it out. Finding Aurelia Cavella and freeing my fellow gods won't fix everything. I don't intend to rejoin them. This is my final mission, and I will see my people freed. After I have that closure, it's time for me to pass on.
He can't be serious. This isn't how I wanted it to be. No, I know him better than anyone else. He's completely serious. His mind's been made up.
Old gods die, and new ones will take their place. There will be a new god of the harvest, and I hope they'll be able to do the things I was never able to do. Be the god that I could never be.
Veras, no one could ever take your place. You've earned it.
For once, Illran was glad that Veras was unable to see his face. His eyes watered up, threatening to overflow at any moment. Veras wrapped his arms even tighter around Illran.
You're far too kind to me. I'll keep the memories we've shared close to my heart. Always and forever.
I never thought this would be how it would end up. When we met all those years ago, I never thought I'd become this attached. Perhaps if I hadn't given him that push 7 years ago. I think we have a flashback. Cool breeze blew through the dusk-filled streets of Stagwitch, carrying with it a familiar feeling of home. Rugged stalls filled the sides of the road, covered only by thin linen tarps. Illran reached under and pulled out an apple. They're too trustworthy here. Anyone could come by and rob them blind. A few people walked here and there, but none saw his thievery. He wasn't so dumb as to let himself be caught, especially not by people like him. He continued down the street, aimlessly throwing the apple up and down. A demon in Stagwitch, huh? I've been here for 2 days already, and haven't heard a single word about it. More false leads. The further he walked, the more run down the houses began to look. Yet candlelight could still be seen through the windows. They weren't abandoned, just well loved. Everyone peered inside. Happy families gathered around, laughing and eating, enjoying themselves despite having near to nothing. He moved his eyes away and kicked a rock further down the path. Enjoy while you have it. A solitary figure, walking a lonely road, just as he had been for many years. His eyes finally left the ground, he spied someone kneeling on the pavement before a great statue depicting a bird. When he approached, he found the statue not as great as he first thought. Cracks and veins littered the stone, giving off the impression of being long abandoned. In front, an old man knelt, praying feverishly. Okay.
What are you doing, old man?
Oh, you surprised me.
He jumped up and whirled around, surprised at suddenly being called out to.
I'm praying to Veras that our next harvest will be bountiful.
Praying? What? To a god? Ugh, you've got to be kidding me.
It might sound silly to you, young'un, but that doesn't mean it's pointless. I've got to believe someone's watching out for me.
Blind faith is such a demonic being. It makes me laugh. The gods don't care about us. They hold no loyalty to us. They never have.
What's the point? He's not watching over you. He couldn't care less about what happens to people like us.
Whether he's watching or not, I don't know. But that won't stop me from praying, as I always have.
Ah, blind faith, my favorite. How often are you here, old man? Every day?
Just once a week. He's a fan of music, you know. So sometimes I sit by his statue and play him a tune. I'm the only one left to do it for him.
An old fool, so easily tricked.
Ugh, I really couldn't care less. I didn't ask for your life story.
But you kinda did.
Aye, you didn't ask. But you have the looks of a man that could use a little faith in life.
Everyone scoffed, and the man quickly departed, leaving him in the shadow of the statue. A little bit of faith, huh? Where were they when they let my mother die, then? He looked up at the statue. With a small touch, he brushed the moss off the plaque. Veras, god of the harvest. For 6 days, it was the same. Illran sat by the foot of the statue, panpipes in hand. He played for a few hours, softly and sweetly, but expected nothing in return. At times, a blue bird landed in a tree nearby and listened to his music, watching intently. Illran found it strange, but not strange enough to think about it in depth. The notes rang out through the night once again, echoing back hollowly. What am I doing? This is a waste of time. Perhaps it's better that the old man lives out the rest of his days in blissful unawareness and peace, thinking that his prayers will actually do something. If only my mind could so easily be put to rest. Tonight, no bluebird sat watching him, listening to his song. He played his tune to no one but himself. With a sigh, he resigned himself to give up. Standing, he dusted himself off and began to leave, before he caught the sight of something out of the corner of his eye. Pink. Peach hair. Someone was standing behind a tree close by, peering in his direction. Standing in the dark like that is a little creepy. Illran took a few steps forward, came face to face with the mysterious man. He was a little disheveled and dusty, wearing loose-fitting rags for clothing.
What are you doing?
The man's eyes went wide. He instantly turned and ran. Illran gave chase, following close behind.
Hey, wait! Why are you running?
Leave me alone!
The peach-haired man put up a fight, but Illran was faster. He reached out and grabbed hold of his wrist, forcing him to halt. Before Illran could open his mouth, the boy disappeared into a poof of smoke. He coughed and sputtered, fanning the mist away. A small blue bird fluttered through the smoke upward, heading for the skies. Seeing this, Illran leapt forward, clutching the animal to his chest as he fell to the ground. Smoke appeared once again, but Illran wasn't fooled this time. He felt the human body under him and held it fast. The smoke dissipated. He was greeted by the same peach-haired, but... Leaving Illran confused on the ground, the man struggled out of his grasp, retrieved his clothes, quickly dressing. Illran jumped to his feet again, circling around.
You disgusting demon! Who are you? Answer me! Or am I that far beneath you, huh? You think you're so amazing? I know what you are. I know what you're like. Your kind ruined my life. You let my mother die. You killed her!
I've never met you before. Don't give me the blame for something I had nothing to do with.
You're meant to be that god, aren't you? Veras.
His eyes went wide, but he didn't utter a word.
Some god. Look at you. A shitty shrine in the middle of nowhere. Ha! It's almost funny. You're just a demon who's turned his back on all of us. You don't care, do you? You don't care even if we beg you. Even if we pray to you every day. You still ignore our pleas!
Goodbye. I don't have anything to say to you.
Running away? I'll kill you! I'll kill every last one of your kind!
He charged at Veras, dagger pulled from his boot. Before he had time to think, he was flipped over, as if he weighed nothing, his back hitting the ground with a dull thud. A pain ran through his entire body, making his fingers go numb.
Is that it? Get up. Didn't you say you were going to kill me? Or are you nothing but talk? Don't come charging at me if you don't have the strength to follow it through.
Veras stood over Illran, his face dire. Finally, from up close, Illran noticed something about the man. His eyes were blank, absent.
This is nothing. Does it feel good? Knowing that you're attacking the people you're meant to be protecting? Oh, that's right. That's what you do.
I'm defending myself. You're the one who won't leave me alone. Stop coming here and go home.
Home? I have no home to return to anymore. Now that I finally lured you out, Demon God, I'll kill you. Even if I kill myself in the process.
I like Illran's hair from this angle.
Tell me, am I right? Are you Veras?
Yes, my name is Veras, but I am no god. Not anymore. Don't try to find me again. I'll pretend this never happened.
Before he could turn away, Illran yelled loudly, making Veras jump.
Wait!
What am I doing? I don't tell him anything, and yet...
All you're doing is proving me right, you know. That old man, he really believes in you.
There's nothing left of me to believe in.
Come back here tomorrow. You'll see for yourself.
An instant later, and he was gone, lost somewhere in the shadows of the night. Finally met one in the flesh, so why did he seem so melancholic? It's as if every fiber of his being was riddled with despair. He's not what I expected to find, but he's still a god, a demon, both. Ron weighed his options carefully, thinking back on his decision. What use was directing Veras back to the old man anyway? There wasn't any, and yet. Ron cast the thoughts of his mind and left the statue behind for the night, resolving to return the next day yet again. A lone figure sat in front of a large statue, hugging his knees tightly. He stayed like this for some time, deep in thought. When his fingers brushed against the cool stone of the statue, he found himself surprised. Someone had cleaned it. Where before moss was growing in abundance, it was now as smooth as the day was placed there. I remembered that day all too well, how the people rejoiced and celebrated, how he observed from above, happier than ever. He watched over the land for hundreds of years by then. People had come and gone, and Veras had seen all of it. But what now? Now I'm nothing. I cannot watch over them or protect them. I am nearly powerless. What point is there continuing on like this, wandering from place to place with no real purpose?
All you're doing is proving me right, you know. That old man, he really believes in you.
No, I have no believers left. If I did, I'd know. I'd be able to hear their prayers, I'm sure of it. What do you want anyway? He's annoying. Well, I did play beautiful music, though. I'm sure he has his reasons for hating us. After all, he's not wrong.
You don't care, even if we beg you, even if we pray to you every day, you still ignore our pleas!
Why does he hate us so much? What did I do to earn his ire? Shaking his head, Veras stood up from his spot and reached upward toward the statue. It was so close, yet it felt further away than ever.
What must I do to regain my purpose?
Today is much like any other day. Illran traveled from place to place, listening to gossip and swindling secrets. Life of a bounty hunter was hard, but it was the only thing he knew. It was an easy way to make money, and he only need risk his life every now and then. To him, this was a win-win situation. Going out in a blaze of glory. Most certainly sounded appealing to him. Illran raised his hand to shield his eyes from the blazing sun. It was already past midday and unbelievably hot. This time, a wonderful show. Made its way back to the same path as he had walked all week. As he came closer, he noticed someone. Veras stood behind a tree, watching the old man pray with all his heart. He looked as if he wanted to approach, but kept stopping himself. Illran stayed back, watching the scene unfold. Eventually, Veras stepped out from behind the tree and stood by the praying man, who quickly scrambled to his feet to greet him.
Oh, sorry for taking up all the space, young'un. You here to pray too?
You pray to a god?
Of course. To Veras.
But why?
Always have, always will. Growing up, my entire family would gather here to pray. Other families, too. I'd say half of Stagwitch basically lived at this statue. We'd celebrate with music, marvel at the blue wrens that would gather by the statue. It was wonderful. What I'd give to go back to that time.
You still believe in him? Don't you worry that he isn't watching out for you anymore?
Oh, I'm too old to be worrying about something like that. Even if his gaze is turned elsewhere, I know that he's out there somewhere, doing good. My children and grandchildren don't believe in Veras, and my wife died, what, must be 10 years ago now. But I still come here every Sunday and pray. It reminds me of those happy times. You seem like you're a little lost, and, you know, that's all right. Sometimes you have to lose yourself before you can find yourself, after all. Anyway, I'll be moving on. About time I got supper on.
The man nodded at Veras and left, turning back to his home. The area in front of the statue was suddenly quiet. Illran finally came out of his hiding place and approached Veras. Only when he came closer did he hear what started as muffled sobs quickly became flooding tears. He collapsed to his knees, staring at the statue.
He's the first one I've met in over a century. A real believer. I've never heard his prayers. Not a single one. I'm not a real god anymore. I'm just nothing. Even to people like them. To that old man and his wife, who had so much faith in me. I couldn't help them. I couldn't protect them. Why? Why must I exist? How could I possibly overcome this pain?
Why does he seem so heartbroken? Is he actually?
Do you take his belief in you for nothing?
He looked around, eyes fixated on Illran, even if he couldn't see.
What?
He's putting all of his belief into you, not anyone else. And this is how you're repaying him?
What else am I meant to do? I'm powerless to do anything. You wouldn't understand. There's no point in trying anymore.
I don't know what you're going through. That's true. But there is something I do know. Achieving your goals is never impossible unless you want it to be. You can find your purpose.
For a moment, Veras looked more vulnerable than ever, but something changed. It was as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders, just from being told something so simple.
You're right. There is something I can do.
He stood and wiped away his tears with a look of determination.
Where are you heading?
I don't wish to fight you anymore. Please.
I'm not looking for a fight. I asked where you were going.
Within his eyes, a fire was now lit. I want to help him regain what he lost. Maybe, in the meantime, we'll be able to learn a thing or two.
I'm going to save my people. and become a god once again.
That sounds like a difficult task.
I don't know where to start, honestly.
Perhaps you could use someone with a knack for solving problems then.
You may be right. I'll have to ask around.
So, you can turn into a bird.
I can?
I'll help you. On 2 conditions.
What would they be?
1, you tell me the truth about the gods. And 2, you help me with my bounty hunting.
My journey may be long. It may even be never-ending.
Well, I have a lot of spare time on my hands anyway. I could use something fun to do. Plus, I've been looking for a bounty hunting partner.
It's like that. We're from enemies to companions. It's kind of embarrassing remembering how I acted back then. I was so ignorant, so cocky. As we traveled together, inching closer and closer to finding Aurelia Cavella, we found that we got along well, more than anyone else I've ever met, despite our differing personalities. He was both kind and funny, self-sacrificing and good-natured. Before I realized it, we were already inseparable. That's what I thought.
Illran?
Yeah, of course. If that's what you want, then I'll help you achieve that.
For 7 years we've been together. To think that could be taken away so suddenly. Faced with an uncomfortable future, Illran had one thing on his mind. One thing he strained to bury, but kept resurfacing. I love him. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode here. God damn. Okay, well, here we go. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you later.